Legion Tactical Cutlery.
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? It's Grugs of Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back, Legionnaires. Welcome back, troops, and welcome back any new recruits. I really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for taking the time to check out my videos. In front of you, you see the Schrade SCHF32. It's a badass looking blade, but will it hold up? We're going to find out. All right, as always, before we get started, what is in your pocket? It's inspection time, guys. Today I am carrying the awesome Ultimate Hunter from Cold Steel. This thing is badass. I got to do a review on this. Expect one soon. Let me know what you guys are carrying today. Veterans and active military, this channel supports you guys 100%. We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for your service, and I hope that you guys are going to enjoy this video. All right, Legionnaires, let's go over some quick specs. Basically, this is a discontinued model. At the time, it was $25. This is, again, the SCHF32. Overall length, 9.375 inch. Blade length, 4.25 inch with a cutting edge of 4.00 inch. Blade thickness is 0.13 inch, which is a bit of an issue. I did use this knife and the tip did bend. Blade materials 8CR13 MOV. Blade style is a clip point and the blade grind is a hollow grind. Blade finish is black. The edge is plain. Handle length is 5.125 inch and the handle thickness is 0.55 inch. The handle material is a TPE or thermoplastic elastomer. It is a black knife. Okay, it does come with a black nylon sheath. It is a Full-Tang fixed blade. All right, those are the quick specs. Let's get to work. All right, Legionnaires, let's take a real quick close-up look. Now, I did use this blade a few days ago, so it is not brand new. Okay, there is the clip point blade, long clip point, hollow grind. Got some nice jimping over here. Okay, thermoplastic elastomer handle, very comfortable, Full-Tang, but notice that tip. Look how thin that is. That is a problem. And I don't know if it's just my knife or if it was the heat treat on this particular one, but a little bit of my testing proved that it does bend. So you have to be very careful, but we're still going to put it through its paces because I like this knife. I like the way it looks. I like its shape. It is a Full-Tang beauty. You know, it's got a nice sharpening little choil over here. Hole for a lanyard. I do have a lanyard right here. We're going to do a little bit of chopping, batoning, the regular mission, troops. Sheath is adequate. Okay, it has some lashing points over here if need be. Put it on your LBE vest. Okay, it's only one carry though. Kind of wish that, you know, they had something that they could have moved back and forth, but you know, not an option, unfortunately, but an adequate sheath nonetheless. It fits in okay, it snaps in okay, it's quiet, it doesn't rattle, and I mean, for 25 bucks at the time, not a bad blade, but in my honest opinion, and I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't use this for law enforcement or military. If you want to have it as a collector piece, it'd be great, but since this particular knife, the tip bends, I can only assume maybe the other ones bend. I'm not sure. But anyway, you know what? Let's get to testing. All right, real simple mission. Just gonna cut that log, chop it, process it, baton, etc. Real simple. And always taking a look at the tip. All right, let's get started. Handle is comfortable. The lanyard is perfect fitting. Should be good for chopping. I might have to choke up all the way back here, but we're going to find out. The hollow grind should make easy cutting, and hopefully the tip won't bend. Yes, I am concerned about the tip. Definitely biting in, and it's one of those hollow grinds that'll stick into the wood. So definitely have to choke up all the way back here. So a lanyard is definitely necessary, okay, to get that leverage, to get a good chop and a swing. It's a light blade, it's not a heavy blade whatsoever. Probably better to do V-notch batoning, but I wanted to see its chopping capabilities. Yeah, that short blade, that 4-inch blade, it's a little tough. But again, in a pinch, you at least know its capabilities. Definitely a slow process. I'm noticing that I'm not having the control that I want, which is kind of strange. It's hard to explain, but it's just so light that it's just going all over the place, in my opinion, at least with this particular blade. But the good news is that it's sharp enough that it's sticking in there, you know? Now, I like hollow grind, but this one is real thin. And so far, I don't see any chips or rolling yet. Let's just keep going and see what happens. But it's doing a job, you know, it's doing a good job, but it's taking a little bit longer than I would ever have expected, that's for sure. The handle is very comfortable, no shock. You know, I love this TPE scale, and at least they're removable, so you could, you know, if you want to put other scales on there, if you're that talented, or, you know, a lanyard loop around here, lanyard handle, gives you that opportunity and possibility. But she's definitely biting into the wood, but it's just sticking, you know, so it's sticking pretty badly. All right, can it chop? Yeah, it can chop. Is it doing it efficiently? No, no way. I'm gonna get a baton and do some V-notch batoning and see how that works out. I think this is better suited for this blade. Oh, okay. All right. So it broke apart. Definitely, I think the V-notch batoning is way better suited for this blade than doing chopping. Can it do the chopping? Yeah, you saw it could do the chopping. But I think there's a better use for this. So again, just getting familiar with the knife right now. And so far, no damage to the blade, no chips, no rolls yet. So let's do some horizontal and vertical batoning. All right, let's get to processing. All right, that was good. No issues. All right, great. No problem with the hollow grind whatsoever. Let's do one more. Nice. All right, did a good job. Did a good job at batoning. All right, troops, so far the knife is doing everything that I've asked it to do without any issue. The edge is still pretty sharp, and we're gonna test out some feather sticking. I'm also gonna do some more manageable pieces, so we're gonna baton straight through some pieces of wood, but it's always in my mind that that tip bent. So, you know, with this particular knife, I'm just being a little bit more cautious, right? Because if this was the only thing that I had out in the field, I definitely don't want to screw things up, right? So just being cautious, and, you know, I'm just being straight forward with you guys that when I did test this out over the weekend, the tip did bend. So just keep that in mind. So I took the liberty to process all this wood off camera, and it looks like batoning does a great job with this knife. No problems, no issues whatsoever. No issues with the spine. You know, the steel looks good. So here's some quarter pieces that I did. And I just want to make some more, let's say, manageable pieces for a wood stove or something, you know? So. There we go. No problem. So chopping with this is doable, but it will take you a long time. You're better off doing this, batoning. With this type of a knife, I would recommend bringing out a saw or a axe for sure. You know, you definitely don't want to have this as your only option, or even maybe a pocket knife, a good pocket knife. But pretty good. I mean, the pieces are working out just fine. No damage, no issues, perfect size for a camp stove or a small campfire. Okay, let's do some feather sticking. Now the knife is still pretty sharp. Well, probably not the best stick right here, but as you can see, it's making the curls. This is that HCR13 MOV steel. You know, and I use this on other knives and it seemed to perform okay. And after doing all that batoning with this knife, not bad. You know, it's definitely making the curls. There you go. It's doing it. It's doing it for sure. Let's try the tip over here. Doing individual curls. No problem. So still pretty sharp is what my point is. All right, great. Now I am going to do a tip test, okay? So let me get set up for that and we will test it out. All right, troops, I just want you to check out to see how sharp this knife still is. I mean, look at those fine little curls right here. I got a little bit longer stick and I wanted to make these curls on camera. As you can see, there's some thin work over here. So the hollow grind is working out real nice. And I needed to show you guys something towards the end of the video. So that's why I'm doing this again. As soon as you get that spot, it starts to kick some ass. All right, let's do a tip test again. All right, troops, some real simple tip tests. I'm not really trying to break this knife. I know its limitations, so I'm just going to point out the sharpness of the tip and some possibilities of what you could do with it. So right now I'm just going to do some bark. Just cut up some bark. so you can get some real good accuracy over here with the bark. You know, if need be, there was something that needed to get done to get cut thin. So I got a nice thin piece of bark right here, and using the tip. So the hollow grind is pretty awesome, and she's cutting just fine, you know, pretty good. See, some nice thin piece of bark for whatever reason, you know, just a quick test. Maybe you're cutting some twine, bone, meat, whatever, and you want to do something thin and you want to use the tip. It's doable. Okay, now just a quick, let's see if we could just make a divot without the tip bending, because I did watch some other content creators and I don't remember them having any issue with the tip. But let me make a quick divot. I want you guys to see that it is doing it, it is performing it. But we'll see what the results of the steel is after I'm done. So, quick look, that tip is okay. It's not bad. Now, the issue that I had is that when I did this, instead of going back and forth and pulling it straight out, what I did was I twisted it, okay? I twisted it this way to pull it out, and that's where I bent my tip. So I don't want to do it again, you know, but let's just see if I could split wood with this tip at least. Okay, it's a pretty thick piece of wood. I just want to make sure I get this safe. All right, well, at least that split it. Tip looks okay. Let's just keep going. With this knife, you're definitely going to have to be careful, in my opinion. Okay? So you can't take it out of the stump off to its side. Just got to go rock it back and forth and then pull it straight out as soon as it gets loose. But it's doing the job, and the tip still seems to be intact. Let's try this again. All right, this is the result I like to see. Okay, see how I'm going back and forth, pulling it out? That's something that you need to be very aware of if you own this knife, or if you find one on eBay or whatever and you decide to get it, because I love this knife. This is a cool design. If it was just a little bit thicker, this thing would be badass. Get this out of the way. Again, I would definitely recommend an axe or a saw with this knife. Don't make this just your primary. Even a folder, like a cold steel or something similar that you could depend on, you know? Okay. It did split that, as you can see, just not all the way. It's so thin that it doesn't automatically split the wood like some other knives that I have tested. All right, looks like it's doing it. One more, let's see. Oh, I broke that. Anyway, looks like it's doing a fine job. Again, see, now the tip is a little bent, little to the right. So just got to be careful. All right, I'm kind of satisfied with this tip test. I think it performed a job that I needed it to do. And we'll move on. All right, the knife does have a protruding tang, so I'm going to batten it into the stump, and we're going to do some pull curls. Okay, at least it has something, which is good. All right, I got it nice in there, stable. This should be not a problem because this knife is extremely sharp still. And there we go, there's the curls. Not bad. Probably not the greatest piece of wood to be making curls, but it's doing it. All right, troops, good enough for me. Tip is still a little on the bent side. All right, troops, we are going to test out the spine of this blade, and we're going to do a Legion light up for Anon's Edge. He's trying to get up to 500 subscribers, and I just want to get the word out, and I promised that I would do it on his live stream, and I'm a man of my word. So we're going to test out the spine, and then we're going to do a Legion light up. Seems to be taking some of my nail material off. Let's see what happens when we do some scraping here. Okay, seems like it's doing a good job. Now I want you guys to know, even though the tip is kind of, you know, wonky, and again, I don't know if it's just this knife, you know, the heat treat or what, or if they had issues with this knife and that's why they discontinued it. But for me, with this particular knife, it has done what I asked for of it so far, except for the, you know, the concern of the tip. And I keep on reiterating that because it's constantly on my mind, unfortunately. So, all right, so this is doing a decent job. The knife is still extremely sharp, folks. Here, check this out. And this piece right here, a feather stick, I did do with this knife. Not today, though. I did this over the weekend, so. But this knife is making some nice thin shaves. As you can see, of this fat wood. This is a nice hard piece of fat wood. And it's doing a really good job. You have to excuse the noise in the background. It is a beautiful day. There are a lot of people at this park. This particular park does allow people to fly airplanes or model airplanes, helicopters, etc. So it does get a little noisy. But I digress on that. The knife is doing real well. And it's a shame because, you know, I see a lot of potential in this knife. I think this could have made a great combat knife. I think this could have made a great knife for law enforcement in a tactical environment, waterborne environment. You know, I see a lot of potential in this blade, but we'll talk about it at the end. But as you could see here, this is definitely cutting everything up real nice. And it's still sharp. I haven't sharpened it, stropped it, or anything. And I even used this over the weekend. Okay, so let's do a little bit more scraping. And it's doing a job. It's a shame because this is a nice light knife, you know, something that a hiker could take into the woods. But you know what? There's so many other great budget knives that are just as capable and light. I just really like this design, you know? And it's kind of killing me, folks, because it's doing everything that I want it to do. All right. I think that's a nice little pile. I got a little fluff here just in case. All right. I had to move to the secondary Legion chopping block because it was a little windy out by the field, by the primary one. All right, let's test this out. Let's see if this spine sparks up. Yeah. There we go. All right, Ianon's Edge. You have been honored, sir. I hope you get to 500 real quick so you can enjoy that community post, because I always enjoy that too, you know? Also, the Legion has been honored. Let's light this up. There we go. Very cool. Okay, capable knife, you know. Well, I got some things to talk about, and I'll meet you back at the primary chopping block for a discussion. All right, troops, that was a great Legion light up. I wish I could give you some better news on this Schrade. Okay, it did do everything that I asked for. Okay, it chopped through wood, it batoned through this wood straight through. It made fine pieces. Because of that hollow grind, I was able to have quite a bit of control. Initial tip testing, you know, you can get some fine work done, you know. I did a little bit of carving, okay, off camera. I did a lot of stuff on and off camera, okay. It's capable, but you have to understand its limitations, this knife. And I don't know if it's just my knife or maybe this batch was a bad heat treat. I have to go take a look at other content creators. Now, I'm not too enthusiastic right now because I really wanted this knife to shine. I love this knife. I mean, this is a badass design, guys and gals. I love it. I think it's fantastic, you know? Maybe if the grind was flat rather than hollow, or maybe, you know, full flat grind. Maybe if the thickness was a little bit thicker, you know. But I can't deny the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that, you know, if I was a hiker or a bushcrafter or somebody in the military or law enforcement and I was depending my life on this knife, I don't think so, you know. I mean, there are specific reasons that hikers, campers, bushcrafters, law enforcement, and military might need that tip to be 100% functional. So, can I suggest this knife to you? Even if you find it online, I say skip on this one, you know. And it's a shame. I hate to say it. If you want to keep it as a collector piece, then keep it as a collector piece. If Schrade decides to bring back this knife, hopefully they'll take a look at this video and, you know, maybe they'll make some adjustments to the knife. But don't get me wrong, this knife did work, okay? It batoned very well, okay? I had a lot of control with batoning, okay? It did horizontal baton, it did vertical baton, you know, and this is a pretty thick piece of wood. Chopping is not the greatest, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's a light knife. It's very well balanced, and it's not front heavy. Actually, it feels more rear heavy than it does front heavy. So it wasn't the best chopper, but it still did the job. I mean, in a pinch, you know, you could depend on it. Now, it did baton through. I did some V-notching, and it quickly came apart. So that was good. And the knife is still extremely sharp. It's pretty good. Look at that. Look at the curls that it's making. You know? That's pretty good. And I know it's not the greatest steel. It's that 8CR13 MOV, but it's holding up. I mean, the edge is still extremely sharp, and I didn't sharpen it or strop it. And you know, I carry that kit with me all the time. And it's doing a great job. Oh man, I wish I had better news for you, man. This did bend. You know, so even if I do something as simple as this, just to put it in place somewhere, you know, you always got to keep in mind that you can't bend it left or right, but back and forth to pull it out. Well, I don't know, man. You know, you know, when you're out there camping or hiking or whatever, or law enforcement, military, you don't want to worry about that stuff. You just want to know that the tool is going to function as it's supposed to. And I just can't, I'm sorry, I can't recommend it. Now, at the time that it came out for 25 bucks, well, I guess it's not a bad deal. I've seen them on eBay and some other places for around 40-ish. I wouldn't do it. You know, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't do it. But it would be good to see if another content creator had a knife like this today, moving forward. And I'm kind of curious what, you know, his or her experience with the tip would be. But everything else worked just fine, you know. It worked great. Maybe if this was a flat grind, but I don't know if Schrade's even going to bring this back. I've seen a couple of other fixed blades on their website, and they're going to AUS 10 on some of them, and some of them, for some reason, they're going to AUS 8. But you know, I'm not being picky about steels anymore, especially after I tested out one of the knives in AUS 8, and it did a flying, colorful job. Yeah, I mean, you just can't really tell with steels nowadays, you know, because there's so much good heat treat happening. And again, this could be a poorly heat treated batch. Maybe it's just my knife. I don't know, you know. So if you guys do own the Schrade SCHF32, please write in the comments below what your experiences are, you know, because this is a damn great knife, man. And I'm just so bummed about the tip, you know, because that's all I would think about. Am I going to break the tip, you know? And then if you don't have the proper sharpening tools out in the field, how are you going to fix it? In any case, troops, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. Thank you very much for this. I wish I had better news on this one. I'm still glad I have it in my collection. I just won't be using it out in the field. So, all right, guys. Again, I really appreciate it. Vets and military, thank you again for your service. I want to bring awareness to everybody. Hashtag 22 a day, hashtag 22 a day no more. There are veterans and military personnel out there that wants to come out of the military. They face a lot of challenges, and unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So I'm going to leave in my comments and description sections links and phone numbers to websites that you can get some help. Also, there is a message from Martin Miller. He was a Vietnam veteran from 66 to 69, and apparently he went through this. He has a heartfelt message for you guys. Also, at the end of this video will be some slides that you guys could pause and take a look at. So seek the help that you guys have earned and deserved. All right, troops, Legionnaires, I appreciate everybody. Again, I wish I had better news for you on this one, but you know, hopefully the other knives I'll be testing out will be better. I've got a couple more budget knives that I've seen on YouTube. They look good. They're under 40 bucks, and I can't wait to test them out. You know, be back out here soon enough. All right, Legionnaires, at the ready, guys. Hold the line, and we are Legion. Take care. Legionnaires!